Welcome back, everybody, to another Cats Coverage basketball podcast. These have kind of, gotten spread pretty far out this summer. There's been a lot going on. We're all pretty busy, but I have to be honest with you. I've been looking forward to this for a few days now when we scheduled it. We've tried to schedule a couple of times on my end of things. I haven't been able to make it work, but man, I love sitting here chopping up with you guys. There's so much, that's happened this summer. And I know we were all there for Mark Pope's press conference. It feels like it was 3 years ago. It's been a couple months. I'm excited to get in here and go through some things, and I just catching up with y'all. How have y'all been? I mean, Tim, you got the hair growing out. You look like a whole new man. It's something I'm not able to do, but I'm impressed that you got Michael. You still at the TV station kicking it. How you all doing?
Good, man. Tim's looking fresh, man. I need to get some flow like that.
Yeah, man. It's the longest I've ever grown it out. So used to hate any hair touching my forehead, but I'm used to it now, and got me a tattoo now too. Yeah, so bit of a different appearance since the last episode, but yeah, things are good. I'm in full football mode, so to draw back some and talk about basketball is new.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, man. It's Wednesday right now. The game's this Saturday. I'm sure we'll all be there for that. First time under the lights. Most of those first games of the year, the season opener, I'm thinking like it's going to be noon, hot, sunny, just getting back in the groove of things. Real slow. It always felt like at least for me. I'm glad it's going to be a night game. They get to debut those blue lights. Finally, Kentucky football is catching up with the rest of college football, a couple years behind, but it's better late than never. So, man, I'm excited to get there and to get in the Southern Miss. But, yeah, basketball, I mean, it does feel a little weird to talk about it. Have we done one since the TBT event? I don't think we have we?
I don't think so, no.
The TBT event was awesome, man. And I know we all got to kind of catch some of those games. And that, man, I just real quickly, that one in Louisville, Freedom Hall is, of course, a little bit smaller. I think they had like 13,000 there, and there's so many people standing. And I just was taking pictures on the floor, and I just remember sitting there like, this is what it must have been like back in the day with Memorial or something when Rupp and Adolph Rupp and all those teams were there playing in a smaller, packed environment. I don't know. I was so envious. It was so like I was forcing it, but it felt like this like different time frame of back in the day what it felt like when you had a small arena. And that game was nuts. I could sit here and talk all night about it. I won't, but real quickly, like what we never got your thoughts about TBT. Tim, what were some of your thoughts about the event? It happened maybe a month ago now?
Yeah, I mean, no, it's an awesome experience for some Kentucky alumni and fans to see them again since they last played for Kentucky. There's several pros that were there: Eric Bledsoe, Willie Cauley-Stein, who haven't been able to play basketball professionally recently, so it's nice to see them again. And of course, nobody's watching overseas games to watch the Harrison twins or Nate Sestina, so it was especially awesome to see Nate Sestina light up Louisville the way he did. It was a blast to watch that.
Man, that guy was a killer. And they missed him, man. He's got a prior commitment. He can't play in the semi. It was heartbreaking. You kind of knew they were going to lose when you heard that news because he was really like their number one bucket getter. They really got to get like John Wall or Boogie. That would be crazy. But they had a good squad, man. They had a good a shot as anyone to win it all. He had the prior commitment. If they won that semi, he would have played in the final. It just kills you. I bet the whole team's just like, come on. I bet him most of all. He's like, come on. He let his team down, but it's okay.
Could you imagine Boogie on the team during the Louisville scuffle?
Would have been barking.
Oh man, that would have taken a turn.
Man, dude, I was right in the middle of that. Like I wasn't in the middle, but I was about 5 feet from the middle. Dylan Ballard, I know we all are good friends with him. He was about an arm length away from me, and he caught the overflow of spit off of Nate Sestina's head. The part that missed his head, it just drilled Dylan right next to me. I was like, oh my God. And, I was trying to like stay my distance. Some big guys up there. And, but I got that really close experience of that. And that was nuts. Being up in the middle of that, it felt like it went on for 10 minutes. I think it was probably 4 or 5, but I was like, oh my God. That was so exciting, man. And if we had more time, I'd love to talk about it more, but unfortunately we don't. We got things to get done. So let's quickly recap. Mark Pope got his first commitment in the 2025 class. In-state recruit Malachi Moreno. I think I'm saying that right. Georgetown plays over in Georgetown at Great Crossing, I believe. He chose he had Indiana, Louisville, Ohio State, Iowa, Arkansas, Notre Dame, North Carolina, and Kentucky to pick from. I think towards the days before, I think a lot of people were saying it's more Kentucky, North Carolina, but he had 8 finalists up there. Ultimately, he chose the Cats. I think he's going to start a trend, and I think. Well, actually, they moved his date up forward, and people have said that it's likely because they knew he was going to be the likely to commit out of those two, out of him and Jasper Johnson. So you can get him to commit first. It might, kind of change things a little bit in our favor if Jasper was to go first and for some reason didn't pick Kentucky, then Malachi, I'm sure he'd probably be thinking, oh, okay, what do I do? So I think it was strategic. It had to be. Ultimately chose the Cats. I think you would have been fine if you missed it, but it would have been more of like, okay, can he get this top talent? And he's ranked, I think, top 30 in the country, 4-star player, number 1. I think he was top 3 center. Some outlets have him as number 1 center. So anyway, either way, big commitment, 20 minutes from Lexington. I think if they wouldn't have got him, it would have been worse, obviously, than getting him because they would have, you would have had your concerns. Like, that guy's right down the road. You let him go to North Carolina, Arkansas was a favorite. It was huge that they got him. And I wanted to get y'all's thoughts. Michael, how did you feel? I know you got to actually watch a lot of his games. I've not seen him. I've not seen any of his high school games, but you've covered a bunch.
Yeah, I've been covering his games. Sorry for the vacuum, but I've been covering his games since his freshman year. He's gotten bigger. He needs to add more muscle. He's got a great frame, right? He's huge. He's a 7-footer, but he's got to add more muscle. He's got to add more post moves. He doesn't have a great offensive post game, but man, defensively, he's elite, and he blocks shots at an elite level. He's got a wide range. He can get all over the paint. So, and great prospect, a guy that really has the potential to do, some things at the next level if he can add weight. But I like Jasper's chances too, man. Next Thursday, September 5th, that's when he's committing at Woodford County High School. So he's coming back home. And, man, if Pope could get both of those guys, that's huge to keep the in-state recruiting going. Both of those guys had Arkansas just because, to keep the Cal. Cal was recruiting those guys. Cal was at the Region 11 title game here in town when he passed to Vince Dawson. Dawson hit the game winner to send them to the state tournament. So, I like Malachi. I think he could be a good player. It's gonna be a project. He probably won't contribute a lot offensively year one because he doesn't have a huge offensive game right now at the high school level. So he'll need to add weight, add a bag. But he talked at his announcement that he wanted to learn from Coach Pope because he kind of sees himself as Coach Pope. Pope was a double guy in college at one point. A big so. Great experience for Malachi, and hopefully Jasper follows, man, because that'd be crazy if he could get both.
Yeah, Michael, right before you hopped on, me and Tim were actually talking about Jasper's commitment coming up. Tim, I know we talked about he's going to be in Woodford County. A couple different ways you can spend that. That's, 15 minutes from Lexington. It's the county over from Fayette County. Also the school that he played at before he went to Link Academy, now at Overtime Elite. Tim, let's throw you on the spot. Are you going to pick Jasper to pick Kentucky, or what's your kind of thoughts on that commitment that's yet to happen at the time of this recording?
I have no insight on it, but based off all the other insight I'm seeing, it seems Jasper is most likely going to be a Cat. It still seems kind of maybe up in the air with Bama, but I think from what I'm seeing, it seems like it's either one of those two. And I would of course love to see him here. He has such a great shot creating ability. You see his highlights all the time. He's just doing spin around jumpers, cash, and it's amazing to see that. And I think under Cal, something we never really saw is players having that free reign. It was always pass first offense, try to do a lot of off ball movement, maybe some backdoor cuts, get a guy open. So it'll be nice to have him come here to see if Pope gives him that free reign and let him kind of just flow and do his thing.
Yeah. I would count out North Carolina. I'm right there with you. I would go Kentucky too. That would be huge. Another back-to-back with Malachi, but they said he grew up a North Carolina fan, as oddly as that is. I'm not sure how that worked, but he's what that would, if he's a 17, 18 right now, his middle school years would have been the 38-1 team. Like, it was prime Kentucky that in those development years of picking your school. I don't know how that works. I would love to find out one day, especially if he picks Kentucky. But yeah, they say he's a North Carolina fan, so Kentucky, North Carolina, and then I think Alabama's up there because they've been in with him early, fresh off a Final Four. But yeah, if you made me pick today, I'm going Kentucky. If not, it's not the end of the world, but like it's a big hit. That's a Lexington kid. Like he was born in Lexington. He's a legacy recruit. His dad and grandfather, they have major ties to UK football and the program, and to not get him would be huge. But yeah, I'm going to pick him. Michael, are you fine with going on record? Or where do you think he's going for college?
Yeah, I think he's coming to Kentucky. I do think North Carolina has a really good shot, though, in case Jasper just wants to kind of have his own legacy a little bit because, his dad played football here. His grandfather coached here, I think. So, he might just want to go do his own thing. But I'd probably predict him coming here. I think the crystal ball already picked it, and the crystal ball is normally pretty good. So that's a big start. But you wonder, it's good that these guys are making their commitments before the season starts, because if Pope's first season doesn't go well, it's kind of like, then maybe then you don't have as good of a shot to get these guys in like the 2026 class, So it's good that, everyone kind of understands this year might kind of be a wash. They might be great. It might be okay. But Pope deserves a year to just kind of get things going. And hopefully he's not around 500. Hopefully he's better. But either way, it's kind of a wash. And then let him get a good recruiting class in here, regular offseason, and then see what they can do.
Yeah. I mean, recruiting is going to look a lot different for us, but both of those guys are top 30 recruits. Like those are the 5-star prospects. I think Malachi's still a 4-star technically on some things, but some outlets got him number 1 center, top 3 center. Like these are still top recruits that, you got through all the Cal years. And I know we're not going to get a million of them every time we blink, but those are big recruits. Those would be good to get a great foundation to start your true recruiting class. I know he's got all these guys, but for this season, but it was real quick, portal heavy. It would be huge to have that as your foundation. It'd be real promising for the years forward.
Yeah, and keeping the in-state recruiting going. They got the best in-state prospect with Reed Shepard, best in-state recruit with Travis Perry. So to keep that going year after year for Pope to continue, that's good.
Yeah, and full circle with this, Jasper Johnson. I've kept up with the amount of unofficial visits he's taken to Kentucky. He's taken like 8. I'm not joking, like 7 or 8. Being in Lexington, Woodford County. He was in I think Missouri when he was at Link Academy. But anyways, he's made a lot of trips to Kentucky. He was at the to be full circle. He was at one of the TBT games when they played, I think, Marshall. He was there. Vince Marrow was sitting there right next to him. Got a crazy, people came over, and once they saw Vince, they saw him taking pictures. And of course, then he grew up in all this. He knows what all of this is about. So nothing that he has to be taught like some of these other recruits that come from across the country and they first get here, then realize how crazy this fan base is. So he knows what he would be missing out on. And I think, in terms of NIL, in terms of legacy, family tradition, if he was to choose elsewhere, it would be rough. And I selfishly don't think it'd be as beneficial for him unless he was going for I don't know, something guaranteed, start and roll, NIL bag, whatever that may be.
And he's going to start, game 1 probably. I would imagine. I'm pulling up the roster right now, and I don't think that there would be any returning guards besides Perry. All the other guards are grads or senior. Besides Colin Chandler, he's a freshman. Trent Noah's, they call him a forward. He's 6'5". So Jasper to be a combo guard, to be that good with the ball, his handle is nice and he can shoot the lights out. Lefty stroke, he's crafty. He's another guy. I covered his games when he was a freshman, and he was skinny but still crafty, can still get to the cup, and then you think, wow, if he puts muscle on him, he's going to be the real deal. So yeah, Kurt Kriisa is a 5th year. Walker Horn. Yeah, it seems like the ideal starting backcourt in year 2 under Coach Pope, you'd love it for it to be Perry and Jasper. That would be fantastic. And then, Malachi, I don't know if he would. I don't think he would start game 1, but unless he just really bulks up and has a big time senior year, which he's gonna. Great Crossing's gonna be great. I mean, they were great last year, made it to the state semis and lost to Travis Perry. So they're trying to go for a state title at Rupp Arena, and I think they're gonna have a really good shot to get it. But I'm excited about this year's team, man.
Yeah, me too. Tim, well, Michael, I want to get your thoughts on this real quickly. I know we got to let you go, and then Tim, I'm going to get your thoughts right after, but I know we're on a time crunch with Michael. Real quickly, as quick as you can, Big Blue Madness right around the corner. I always get into how much I enjoy that. I know it's lame a lot of times. And then the blue-white game is going to be in Memorial Coliseum, so a little bit different this year. I think they went to Pikeville one year, Northern Kentucky another year. Memorial Coliseum renovated, $80 million, I believe. It's real nice. Those pictures look awesome. Michael, let's get your thoughts real quick on that, and then we'll let you go. I know you got TV to do, and then Tim, we'll get your thoughts right after that.
Yeah, Memorial looks great, man. It's going to be nice. They got people a little nervous when that exhibition for volleyball got closed to the public, which it originally wasn't. So it was like, oh, is this not construction not going on schedule? But they're getting ready for the soft opening on this Friday night for volleyball. They're going to have another soft opening for women's basketball. But, yeah, it's pretty much done. They still got more stuff like behind one of the hoops. They're having like another like hangout section, which they're still, I think, is going to be one of the later things that they're going to get done in that construction. But it's going to be nice, man. The crowd's going to be awesome. And, to see what Pope does, everyone is on this Mark Pope honeymoon, and I hope it lasts forever. But, if they start losing games, obviously the pressure will be on him. But for now, man, everyone's in love with him. And, the town loves him. He's all over town. He just gave Dolly Parton a special UK jersey, right? So that's certainly going to get him some brownie points. And that Big Blue Madness, it'll be fun. Hopefully he comes out and does something like crazy and just kind of gets people amped up.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got something up his sleeve. And it's, same with all this. It's going to be different. Everything's – you already know they're reconfiguring the whole blueprint of what Kentucky basketball is under this new coaching. Like, there's no telling what's going to come out. And I think fans that are going have an open mind. It's going to be different. Everything about this, nothing's going to be the same as Cal. It's a different coach. For better or worse, it's not going to be the same. So who knows what he'll bring out his sleeve. Probably something real creative, especially his first few years when everybody's on that honeymoon and Mark Pope's hitting every check mark of how to be the best coach in Kentucky. It's probably going to be really exciting and something that we can't expect. And I wanted to ask you, Michael, real quickly. I know they had media was allowed to go into Memorial a couple weeks ago. I didn't get to make it. Weren't you there?
Yeah, I was there.
What were your quick thoughts of, like, you got to see it? You went in the building and saw it. It was still a little bit still being worked on. Did you any big takeaways from that when you were a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I mean, there's AC, so that's good.
That's good.
I mean, for volleyball, for the fall sports. No, the video board is really nice. So before they just had that flat video board. I think they had 2 flat video boards on each side behind the basket. Or maybe there was just one big one over on the other end, closer to Avenue of Champions. But they have like the, the kind of hanging Jumbotron 4 sides, I think. So that's going to be awesome. And, yeah, the hangout area behind, like elevated, closer to the basketball offices. I think that'll be a cool spot. Some people would hang out there before, but they put more into that, and then they're going to have a nicer elevated hangout on that side closer to Avenue of Champions. So, and then, they put more lights up once you go up higher on those seats on each side, like closer to the, the nosebleeds, like up there. They put more lights, and I think they made that look a little bit better than it used to because it was kind of dark like up there once you got up 30 rows, and then it was kind of dark. So they put a lot into it, man. The video board, especially the video board and the AC, are the two big perks that I think people are gonna eat up, and they've sold a lot of tickets for women's basketball, so that those games are going to be, I think they're going to be pretty packed, especially if they start winning. Kenny Brooks, a lot of momentum in that program. So if they start winning early, I think that place will get full, and it will for volleyball too. For some of those matches.
Yeah, Michael, do we need to let you go right now? I don't hold you. I know you got TV to do.
A couple minutes, yeah. I got a couple more minutes.
Okay, just let us know.
Talk about the. I want to talk about these new guys, man.
Let's do it. Let's hear it. I want to get your thoughts first. So before I try to share mine and Tim, we share ours because you're on a time thing.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering what the hypothetical starting lineup would be, and it kind of. I wasn't sure if Lamont is going to start or not, because you have to start Kobe Brea and Jackson Robinson, and the starting point guard I think would be Kerr Kriisa. So if it's Kerr, Jackson Robinson, Kobe Brea, and then you get what is Garrison? I don't know if Garrison's going to start. I think it might be Amari Williams has to start. So he's your big. He's your 5. I don't know who starts at the 4. I'd love to get your thoughts, but I would imagine maybe Kerr Kriisa, Kobe Brea, Jackson Robinson, 2 and the 3, same thing, and then maybe Andrew Carr, and then maybe Amari Williams. What do you guys think?
Yeah, Tim, you want to go first? You want me to get mine?
I was gonna say I was kind of in between Carr and Ansley, because Pope was really praising Ansley for his playmaking and passing ability. So they may look to him a bit, but Carr is an offensive beast for a big man. So could very well go with him, and then kind of just have the defensive anchor there at the 5.
Yeah, Ansley would make sense if he's 6'7", but unless you want to play big with, because Carr is, I guess, 6'11". If he can shoot, it's going to be weird to see these big shoot. Obviously Amari Williams isn't going to shoot, but that would be sweet just to kind of see like a lineup where all 5 guys are ready to shoot the basketball, which is something Pope likes to do. That's what he's done at BYU. So that would be fun. But Trace, what do you think?
This all summer I've been under the impression I thought Butler was going to start. Lamont Butler.
Really?
He's from San Diego.
Which he could. I mean, he's talented.
Yeah, went to Final Four. I think went to a championship game, right? I hit the Final Four game winner or whatever. I of course don't know, but that's who I had penciled in as starting point guard, Lamont Butler. I think Kobe Brea, you've got to have him on the floor as much as possible at the 3. I think if Colin Chandler doesn't start, I'm not confident that he will. I think he's going to be like that top 7 rotation. Like I just feel like Colin Chandler is going to get in there a bunch. Andrew Carr at the 5 for sure. I think Amari. I think
Jackson has to start. He's your best player.
Yeah. Is he considered a 4? You think?
I think he's 3. I think he's more of a 3. I mean, unless you're playing small, but I think he's only 6'5". They listed him at
6'5". Okay. Yeah, he's got to start.
He's a 6'6" guard, so he's probably playing at the 3. Kobe Brea is a 6'7" guard, so that's all to have them at the 2 and the 3. But you just do it. Those are probably your 2 best, most important players. If Kobe can shoot the way that they're saying he can shoot, the way he did at Dayton, then you have to have him out there. And then Jackson has to be out there. I mean, he's your best player. He could have gone to the NBA and decided to stick around.
I think, if I had to pick a 5, I'd do Butler, Kobe Brea, Jackson Robinson, Andrew Carr. Yeah, and then probably at the 4, Amari Williams. That the 4, I don't know, man. I don't know a whole lot about those 3 with Ortega, Ansley. I'm gonna butcher his name, but Ansley. I can't say his last name, but those 3, they're still unknown. I've got to do my research on those 3. But hey, I can tell you one thing: when we got to see a little bit of them around the TBT event and the event they had at Joe Kraft Center, Brandon Garrison, that's a big dude. Like he is. I don't know. I didn't see what they had him listed at, but like I was around him. I'm like, he's not like just a skinny pole of a guy. Like Andrew Carr is a little bit more skinnier. This guy's bulky. It almost reminded me of like a 6'8" guard type of deal. And he's not going to play guard. He's 6'10" center is what they have him at.
245 pounds.
But like he's thick in his chest. Right? Like he looks like a guy. Yeah, I don't know. He looks like a guy that I would. He looks like he held his own. I didn't realize he was 6'10". I knew he thought.
Hey, well, Amari Williams is 7 foot 265.
Yeah, Amari's got it. I'll tell you who's the sixth man though. Who first kid off the bench? It's got to be Mr. Perry, man. The way he's got him. He has to, man. The way he can score like that. If he plays even a lick of defense, he will be on the court a lot.
Yeah,
he has to. He needs a bucket. He's just like, he's not just like Reed, but like he almost like hits tougher shots. Like he can hit tough shots. He could just go out and grab you a bucket. Obviously, we know he can shoot like crazy, but for him to he's got a mid-range game. He can score in crafty ways. He's got a little bit more oomph than you think just looking at him. He's actually got some muscle on him, and he can kind of do what he wants. He did what he wanted to any high school defender that was on him when I saw him a few times this past season. But he's gonna get playing time, man. He's gonna get buckets. I could see him getting, who knows, man, 10 points a game off the bench. I mean, I could see it, the way he can shoot like that, but he's just got to play defense, and he can't be a liability out there because, like, last year's team, everyone was a liability. So, like, it just didn't matter at that point because you knew you weren't playing defense. So it's not like, oh, this guy is a liability on defense, like, we need to cover him up. It's like, no, like Antonio and Rob and, like, this and that, like, none of them play defense. So, now this year, I think this year's team is actually going to play defense. That's why Lamont will actually see a lot of time because I heard he's a great perimeter defender. So, the team's going to play defense. That way, if you have one guy who's a liability, then it kind of exposes him. If Perry can't play defense, that might be tough on him. But I think the whole team is going to play better collective defense, which they need, right? Because everyone can score, but we saw it last year, man. You can't just score 100 every game and expect to win every game.
Yeah. Tim, did you say your 5 yet, Tim? Or did you? I don't know if you came out with your full 5.
No, I didn't really say my full 5. I think it's kind of between Kirk Krista and Lamont Butler. With what Michael was saying there, being a lockdown defender could very well be Butler. And then they very well may run Jackson at the 2 and then Kobe Bray at the 3, just to get that spacing that Pope thrives with. And it could be Carr at the 4 or Ansley. I just, with the experience Carr has, I find it hard for him to come off the bench. I feel like Pope is going to have to start him. And then, like I was saying, probably just that defensive anchor and Garrison at the 5.
Yeah, I don't know. Carissa, he might be kind of, that natural point guard. I think he led, or maybe he was was he top 5 in the Big 12 in assists at West Virginia? I think maybe he had a really high assist rate. I know he led West Virginia in assists. So,
you say Kriza? Is that who you said?
I think so. Yeah. Wasn't he? Didn't he? He was in the top of the Big 12, I think, in assists.
Who was that? West Virginia. Yeah.
Yeah, he was at West Virginia. I think he might have led the Big 12 in assists. Maybe not, but he led his team at least in assists. So he's kind of like a more natural point guard. You're going to want one of those on the floor unless they just kind of make Jackson force him to run the point because Kobe Ray is not going to run the point. I mean, Lamont can, but Kriza might be kind of that natural point guard, which you don't really need, but you kind of need. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be fun, but I'm sure I'll catch up with you guys at Media Day coming up here just around the corner. Football's starting, and so we're getting slammed here, so I got to run. But I think we'll have some more to talk about once Media Day comes around and we start to really preview that big one. That game against Duke, man. If Pope pulls that off in the Champions Classic, that'll be crazy.
Wait, that's in Atlanta, I believe. Yeah, Atlanta. Sure.
That's a lot to ask, though. It's a lot to ask a brand new team.
Who's guarding Cooper Flag? I don't know.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if he'll be able to do it. But if he does, man, that would make things very interesting. But
oh yeah.
All right, boys.
Michael, we appreciate you, man.
Yep. Probably catch you Saturday.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
Saturday.
Yes, sir.
All right, see you guys.
All right. See you, Michael.
See you, man.
I was gonna kind of wrap back to Memorial Coliseum some.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because just based off those pictures that the volleyball team has put out, it looks good. And I feel like there's something kind of new coming out with either some smaller schools like EKU. They're renovating. I want to say Roy Kidd Stadium. That's their football stadium. I think is Alumni Coliseum. Maybe I graduated there, and I don't know. Anyway, I mean, yeah, I was there a few times. I still can't tell you. It's the building I graduated in. I can't tell you what it is, but they're doing like a little observation kind of hangout area that kind of oversees the court, and I'm loving how those look. I think it's an awesome atmosphere. You know, you can sit there, hang out, have some drinks, watch some basketball. So to see Memorial Coliseum do that seems like it's going to be pretty great.
Yeah, I think they put 80 million into the Memorial Coliseum. I think I'm so excited that we're going to put the blue white game in there because you know that thing's going to get to the top. Yeah. It was really fun when they took it to Pikeville. I think that was 2 years ago, I believe, with the CJ Frederick team. Well, his first year. That was really cool. You know, what came from that was the coal miner guy. But you know, I just been that far, like, you know, when I associate UK, you know, unless it's a away game and, you know, these big arenas, like I think of just Lexington, you know, or the SEC kind of, that's where my mind quickly goes to, but not like 2.5, 3 hours away from Lexington and Eastern Kentucky. Like I know there's plenty of Kentucky fans down there, but like making that drive down there and seeing another part of the state and thinking like, okay, Rupp Arena, you know, it's moving down here today, you know, a big environment, watch that little small town. I think it was on I forget where it was in Pikeville, but that little downtown area was just flooded. It was only 4 or 5 blocks flooded. I'm like, wow, it was so cool to see. I didn't make it up to Northern Kentucky one. I think Jordan went for us, but you know, I think it's cool. I'm glad they're continuing that stuff. I know they're keeping Lexington with this, but you know, you take it out of Rupp, make it in a smaller gym, give other people a chance to go see it that won't make it into Rupp Arena, and I love it, man. I'm full support. I'm excited to see a new Memorial Coliseum with air conditioning and I don't know. I'm ready for it to start already. I know it's football season, but man, it's gonna be cool to see the blue white game in Memorial.
Absolutely, and Big Blue Madness. We didn't touch on that too much, but I was really curious, kind of like what traditions will carry over because it was always, you know, it's always just a 3-point contest and a dunk contest, and then they did that little scrimmage, if you want to call it, basically just running fast breaks back and forth. But I wonder just how much of that might change.
Well, I feel like all three of those, like if you ask me, I think all three of those would stay. I think we're going to get
probably,
you know, that up and down, maybe a little bit more defense. I'm not sure. I think we definitely get those three. The dunk contests. If any of those three go out, it might be that because I just don't. I know everybody can dunk on the team, but like I don't know if we have any high flying just Showtime dunkers yet. Who knows?
There's some. I can't remember who put it out, but there's a video of Ortega throwing it down. He has some hops. So very well, early prediction is him winning the dunk competition if they have it.
Well, last year, if Joey Hart won it on last year's team, like, you know, I guess anybody can win it now. I definitely keep that. The 3-point contest, I think, is a lock, and I think the up and down kind of back and forth fast break, essentially, I think that stays. But I feel like they're going, you know, the juices are flowing. They're real energetic and creative. I think there's going to be at least 1 or 2 things off the wall that we probably couldn't have thought of. That's going to be, you know, I don't know if he wears out the nostalgia of the 90s, and I don't know if it has anything to do with that. But I definitely think we get in there and get a trailer of like Mark Pope heavy. I know there's some stuff out there right now of it's all around him and kind of like a mini documentary of his time. But I think it's going to be something creative that like none of us can really guess.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we know how passionate and how kind of cheesy Mark Pope is. Maybe he'll come out and do a dance like Matthew Mitchell did that one year.
And you know, Kenny Brooks. Kenny Brooks, we got to get to know him too. Like they're gonna have that's gonna probably be its own thing. I know every women's coach, Matthew Mitchell. I'm already forgetting her name that was here right before.
I couldn't tell you, but
an hour ago. But now on the spot, I forgot her name. But you know, they always kept that up on the women's side. So I definitely think, you know, we're gonna have the Kenny Brooks factor in the women's basketball. A lot of, you know, a talented portal team coming in. I know every year it's, you know, half and half, and the women's team get a lot of spotlight as well. But like I think it's going to be more emphasized this year. You know, it's not going to be like a 70-30 paying attention. I think it's going to be a solid 60-40. Like I think there's a lot of interest with the women's basketball team, a stacked portal team. Kenny Brooks has a huge resume, and he was great at Virginia Tech. I really expect him to be good here. There's just a lot of buzz around both programs, and I think they're both going to get spotlighted like evenly. That's a thing that I think most people aren't thinking about. Women's basketball, there's going to have a whole lot for them at Big Blue Madness.
Definitely. I was going to think it a few days ago. Could you have imagined if Stoops actually went to A&M and we would have had a full slate of brand new coaches for basketball, both men and women's, and football?
Well, man, you think like we've talked about, we did a lot of our thoughts when the whole Cal stuff was going on, but like for us, I'm 26 now. When Cal first got here in 2009, 2010, technically, that was when that season ended. I guess 2009. I was in 6th grade. Stoops got here, I think, when I was a freshman in high school. Now, I watched stuff before then, but I didn't keep up hardcore with it. I was a fan, but from the distance, kept up the scores. But I was in elementary school. I was a kid playing in dirt. Like, I didn't follow it like we do now, like we have. And so the majority of what we know, it's been the same the whole time. Cal for almost 15 years. Stoops for now, I think he's going into his 12th season. Like, for them to both, and Stoops is the longest in the SEC tenured coach. He beat out Saban, and in terms of being at Alabama. But I think there's a lot of truth to that almost leaving. There's a lot of different things that came out from that, but I think it had a lot of smoke. It seemed like we thought he was gone. There was reports coming out from credible people that he was gone. Yeah. And so if they both would have, it would have been so weird. You'd had the football coach, you'd had the men's basketball coach, the women's basketball coach. Man, it just would have been different, man.
Definitely.
Great point.
Yeah, that would have been weird for sure. See, I still remember the Joker days. Don't like to think about those. There's nothing to reminisce on those days, but yeah, I mean, full clean slate would have been very, very weird.
I think I went to one Joker game and we played EKU. I believe that's what it was, and they almost lost at the final 3 minutes of the game. It was like snow was coming down. I'm just like, what is this? At that point in my life, whatever age that was, I just showed up. What's going on? This is fun, and didn't think about it once I left. So I vaguely know, but not hardcore like we did with Cal. I mean, man, we spent all those years with Cal and Stoops. Now I'm glad Stoops is here, but I definitely think his time's limited here. It doesn't have to be, but I'm just so worried, especially if he has another great season. I think there's a lot of truth to that Texas A&M stuff, and I thought he was gone, and I don't know, man. I don't know. Who knows if he's here? If he comes out with a 9-win season this year, 8-win season with this schedule, what if I don't know. What if you could, not to go off on that rant, but there's about 6 or 7 schools based on when their coaching spots open up that he could go to. I don't know, man. I definitely, unless he just loves it here and wants to be here until he retires, I really feel like our time's limited with Stoops, maybe 2 or 3 seasons, and even less the better they do. So I don't know. That's just some thoughts I had, but we're here hitting basketball tonight.
Yeah, that's a rant for another night, I guess. But do you wanted to kind of talk about the schedule a little bit? We haven't dove into the schedule too much. Dive into that.
I'll pull that up real quickly. Yeah, so I haven't got to break that down. I've looked at it real quickly, but going over the first few games. So we've got those 2 exhibitions: Kentucky Wesleyan, Minnesota, Mankato. I'm not sure if that's right. Looking there here, Duke's the big one. Champions Classic going to be down in Atlanta November the 12th. That's the 9:00 game, as always. It's going to be late. It's going to be a late night. Just how it's always was. That's how it was last year too.
I think going into that game, I'm just going to have the mindset of I'm going to enjoy basketball and not get caught up too much in what Kentucky's doing wrong, because Cooper Flagg is insane. He's a generational talent. There's no stopping him. He might drop 40, and I'm just going to watch it and enjoy it, I guess.
Man, I hope it don't get that bad, but he could. He did great with practicing with the Team USA in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Clips of that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Gave me Anthony Davis vibes when he got picked up and played with them at such a young age.
Yeah.
Then I like that we've got WKU. I went to WKU for a little bit of time, so I selfishly kind of like to pull for them. Not against Kentucky, obviously, but going through at Clemson. So that's another thing that interests me, because my mind goes back to playing at Indiana, but Cal got away from that for a long time because I think he was afraid to go there and get upset. we're going to play at Clemson. Outside of the SEC, we don't play a lot of non-conference road games. Actually, I can't think of one in a long time. So the Clemson one's huge. You're going to see decked out in orange. That would be one I'd like to go make that trip if we could make it work. Just different, man. Kentucky, you come to Kentucky to play, and it usually doesn't go the other way around. So again, another Mark Pope thing of this thing. Kentucky basketball is going to be different than what we're used to, for better or for worse, whatever your thoughts are. Like, I'm excited. I'm ready for something different, and I'm excited to see what it's going to be like. Kentucky goes into Clemson and takes on that, and hopefully comes out with a win.
Am I over? I don't know if I'm overlooking this, but wasn't it a thing last year saying that the Indiana-Kentucky series was coming back? Did that kind of just go out the door since Cal's no longer here? Or?
That's a good point. Yes. Well, so they scheduled it for like 6 years in a row. Like, it's going to be a 6 years series. I don't know.
Maybe it doesn't start next year.
Yeah, I think it doesn't start till next year, because I knew it was a year or two gap between. Like, it wasn't the following year. But of course, it's not on the schedule. It's got to be next year. While you're looking at that,
looks like beginning with the 25-26 season and continuing through the 28-29.
Okay.
So,
even as things laid out, Cal still got his wish. He still scheduled that for all his fans, but he never had to go up to Assembly Hall again. I think that's one of the last trips of the Indiana slate. I think it's like on the 5th or 6th round. So it was going to be unlikely anyways, but yeah, he got out of that one because I don't think he ever wanted to go back there. I mean, after it happened in 2012, there was a lot of stuff that came out of that. My players are unsafe and all that. I don't think he ever wanted to go back there. I think it got put at the end strategically.
Yeah, I'm looking at Arkansas's basketball schedule right now, and unfortunately, Indiana's not on there. But that would have been hilarious if he goes to Arkansas and he has to play Indiana first season.
Yeah. Going through the rest, we got Gonzaga. It's technically a road game. Actually, I'm sorry. It's technically a neutral site game. It's but it's in Seattle.
Yeah.
A couple miles from their campus. So it's very much a road game, but it's considered neutral for some odd reason.
Yeah. That should be a fun one, though.
Yeah. We got Louisville. That's going to be exciting. I mean, I don't think we're going to have any issues, but you got to revitalize. Revival is the word they're using with Pat Kelsey. So even although I think there's going to be some forced trash talk from their side, trying to spark up the new coaches. I think there's some of that stuff's going to be forced, but to get things talked about. It ain't going to be like a boring Kentucky Louisville game this year. Not really saying that in terms of score. I'm just saying in terms of storylines. I think it's going to be real entertainment for sure with Pat Kelsey. They got a couple of good guys from the portal, but it's not the team that's only won 4 games their first year, and I think 8. I think it was 8 the second year with Kenny Payne. You're getting a hopefully on paper better Louisville team than what they've had.
Yeah, by no means do I like Louisville, but I'm actually kind of really liking Pat Kelsey as a coach. He has a great personality. He seems like he cares a lot, and I mean he seems like a good guy. Put the rivalry aside, the team aside, he seems like a good guy.
Tim, I didn't hear anything you said.
That's all right. I got my point across.
I'm just gonna pretend like I didn't hear that because I can't process in my brain like an any Louisville coach. I'm glad they got something different. I hated being so mean to Kenny Payne because that's one of our guys. But whatever you said there, I completely didn't listen to you. Don't take offense to that. But that's just a little.
No, I mean it could very well change after this season. Who knows?
Yeah, I got him a short leash. I think he'll come back on our side with that one. And then Ohio State. I don't know if a lot of people realize that's where Aaron Bradshaw snuck off to.
That's
Ohio
true.
State. So we got them in the CBS Sports Classic, and that's where is that at? That's in New York. Man, that would be a fun game to hop up to. I went to New York this summer. Well, it's actually kind of like last May. Man, I had an absolute blast. And to think that you could go watch Kentucky basketball there, I might be trying to work out some plans to hop in that game, go watch Ohio State. Who knows? But Aaron Bradshaw, I don't think Ohio State's very good, but it'd be cool to see Aaron Bradshaw.
Yeah, no, I mean, New York is a blast. I've been there twice, and recently went there with my dad in 2018. It's kind of one of those things where we just hopped on the subway. It was like, all right, I don't know where we are right now. Let's hop off and go find something to eat. It's such a fun experience to sit there and do that. It's always a great time. That would be a fun game to go and check out, though. But there's also Texas and Oklahoma for SEC matchups in our SEC play this year. Of course, we're playing Texas this year in football, but the play in basketball will be different as well. And
At Texas.
and Ortega, he came from Oklahoma. No,
Yeah,
so that'll be a nice little game for him. Maybe he'll throw up a 30-point bomb and
something to do with the Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's not on that Tuesday, Monday night. It's on a weekend. It's going to be a Saturday game. That's different than what we're used to.
Yeah.
Tim, I think we're right in the thick of it. We're kind of looking at something we got to hit real quick. February 1st. Do you know what happens on February 1st?
Not off the top of my head.
Do you have it scheduled?
Oh, I just saw it. Arkansas.
And Rupp.
Yeah.
Any quick things you want to say about that one?
We'll see if Cal calls out sick. No, it's going to be fun. I know it's kind of 50-50 on if people are going to cheer and if they're going to boo, but as media members, we can't do anything anyway. But if I was a fan there, I want to cheer for him, but he's the coach of Arkansas.
Man, I got to really share my thoughts when Cal left, and I was ready. And I'm not going to go down this road again just for a quick second. I was ready, but I still hated to see him to go to another school. I really did. That was my worst thing. I was like, I'd rather him retire. I just didn't want to go see him in another color. And then he got in red, and then he got in our conference. And, man, I have a lot of emotions. Like, I have a lot of love for Cal. I do. It was time to leave. It was a little overdue. I was ready for it. I'm glad it happened. But, I would not be one – if I was one of the fans, I would not be one that boos. I don't care what you do. Okay, if you come at it with the angle of, he went to Arkansas, that's in our conference. He's a rival now. Yeah, I understand that, but Cal enjoys the spotlight. You think he's gonna go off to Wright State or something like that? He was either gonna retire and get something in the NBA or something on TV. But if he's gonna stay in college, he was gonna go to somewhere that's got a spotlight. I didn't think it necessarily gonna be in our conference, but he wasn't just going to Cal, respectfully, he has an ego. That's not always a bad thing, but he has an ego. He has to be in that spotlight. So you knew he was going to go to a big school if he did, but so I don't know. And I think he'll be PR perfect leading up to that. I don't think he's going to watch what he says. He's not going to say nothing that's going to cause any issues. He knows what he's doing with the PR. You can ask him any question. He'll answer exactly how he wants. But, man, there's just going to be so many emotions that I'm going to keep completely inside of myself when he shows up. And I don't know. If I was a fan, I could not pull that out of me to boo him because he's had a lot of great memories here. It's just the game's past him. He just hung around a little too long with Kentucky. I wouldn't be one that would boo. But I'm excited, man. That's going to be the most watched game of the season. It's just going to – oh, my gosh, those tickets are going to be insane. I can't wait to see what those prices are.
I know it.
You don't have to buy tickets.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. Cannot wait for that game. Even if we could go winless all the way up to that game, and I'm still going to be excited for that game. That's not going to happen, but –
you have to win that game for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if we go winless the whole season but then win that game, and, of course, Louisville, I'm happy.
Yeah. Man, Lexington is going to be nuts that weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Lexington is going to be absolutely nuts, and I don't know, man. I think Cal's going to be hiding out a little bit until he shows up for that game. I don't know. I won't save you all some time with that, but that's going to be exciting. February 1st, it's a long time away. But, man, I'm ready for it to be here right now. I'm not going to lie.
I know it.
Okay, looking at the rest of the schedule, let's see. We've got at Tennessee. Tennessee returns back. We got at home and away at Tennessee. Always loved the Tennessee game. It was super fun last year. That was the last game of the regular season last year, and they absolutely put on a show right before the SEC tournament. The vibes were vibing pretty well after that Tennessee game last year. So I always like going down there. If you can get a win down in old Rocky Top of Knoxville, that's always great. Trying to see if there's any other major ones that stick out to me. Thankfully, we don't have to go at South Carolina this year. Surely we could take care of that at home. It's been rough.
Hopefully, yeah.
You need to, because then you're starting, kind of like football, starting a bad little streak here that you don't want to get some flame to it.
Mm-hmm.
At Alabama is always tough, no matter if that team's good or not. It's just tough there.
Who is Vanderbilt's basketball coach now? because they got rid of.
I think they got the guy. Is he from Murray State? I think he was a Kentucky guy,
Oh yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. I think I could be completely making this up, but I think we have a tie to him.
Let me see here. His name is Mark Byington.
Where's he
So,
from?
about to see here. He's from Salem, Virginia. This is his birthplace, at least. I think I saw something about him coaching at New Mexico.
He was with JMU. Okay,
Yeah, okay, JMU.
James
Where's the
Madison.
Southern?
I think I completely made that up, though. I don't know if he has ties to Kentucky, but my mom was wanting to think. Here's his bio right here. Let's see.
I don't know why I saw New Mexico. I don't know where that was. Oh no, that was just a random thought I had.
Yeah, came from James Madison. Man, am I making this up? I thought he had ties to Kentucky. Maybe not. UNC Wilmington, he played there. Yeah, I don't know. I think I completely made that up. But anyways, that's always a game you take care of. I don't really see any other ones that stick out to me. We got Bucknell coming. I just think of Nate Sestina, but they're
Yep.
they're
Yep.
gonna win that game.
Something else that I just kind of thought of was, last year Michael was always saying that Ty Washington, and I think he said Nate Sestina as well, would have thrived with that team, just how the spacing and everything was. But I feel like it would have been a better fit for this team, especially Nate Sestina. Mark Pope, and he loves his big shooting threes. Unfortunately, we lost that one big to Louisville that was from BYU. But hey, Nate Sestina with this team would have been insane.
Yeah, I wish I see that Auburn comes to Lexington this year. We don't have a trip down to Auburn, but that game last year was so much fun. I'm completely drooling when I say this, but like Auburn put on a show. Their arena's a little bit smaller. I think it held around 10,000. But the next season when we go to at Auburn, assuming all that they have a good team, Bruce Pearl, all those, the show's still down there. You've got to make that trip with us. It was an absolute blast last year, and I was just in awe. I was like, man, like that environment. I know it was a little bit smaller, but it was tenfold better than Rupp Arena. And I'm a Kentucky fan, but man, I was sitting there like, this is how it's done. One thing you can't control, but they're gyms right on in the middle of campus. Like there's apartments on campus or dorms right there. Like we can't control some stuff, but man, it was nice. And part of that was Kentucky was coming to town. But when we were asking all those kids camping out, they were like, yeah, it is because Kentucky's coming to town, but like we still get up for the bigger name schools as well. Like it ain't just Kentucky only. We did get up a little bit more because Kentucky's here, but they said this is how it's been here, especially with under Bruce Pearl. I don't know, man. That was a great experience, and when we go at Auburn again, you've got to make that trip. It's worth your time, assuming that Auburn's going to put up a fight again.
I would definitely like to do some more away games. I mean, I don't know if I've done an away game for media, but I mean, I've gone to Louisville as a fan when we had Snell and Allen. We beat them like 50 to something.
Yeah, I was
that was a fun game. I mean, it's always different to be in a hostile environment. And I was sitting there thinking that Texas for football, I know we were talking about Ole Miss possibly, but Texas would be an insane atmosphere.
Yeah.
I really want to try to get involved with some of the more of the away games because I feel like I'm really missing out on a lot of good experiences with that.
You are correct on that. It's a totally different experience. Away games are, and because you go into, I remember the first away game I went to was Terry Wilson's year at Tennessee, and it's obvious, but it's one thing also that you don't think about most of the time is you're going into you're outnumbered. Now, gratefully, Kentucky fans, that's the best case scenario you're going to get in terms of who traveled with you. A lot of Kentucky fans showed up, but no matter how great, they're the top of the food chain at that, you're still outnumbered. There's a lot of that other color, especially when you go to another school that's got a dominant color like Texas, Tennessee, like that orange. It ain't just a white or black or gray or purple. Like it's a dominant color. Like you are outnumbered, and it's quite the experience. I don't know. in terms for media, what we do, the whole process is different. We just kind of run through the motions with we know where to go, but like you got to figure out what all that stuff is, and you get to see how other schools do it. So like at Texas, like that's a prime college football school, and at Ole Miss, the Grove, I've not made that trip yet, but Jordan went for us last year, and he was just talking about how like they know how to tailgate. I remember I went to the at Florida football game a couple years ago, and like with Will Levis when they went down there against Anthony Richardson, and like you take the time to go through campus and see how different it is. You're used to Lexington and Kentucky's campus. It's a different experience. It's so cool, whether it ends up good or bad. I've always had good experiences, but like it's cool to see the different experiences and different environments. And I don't know. It's yeah, you got to get you some this year, man. It's completely worth it.
Definitely, yeah. I'll have to make some time to do that.
But yeah, I mean, did you have any other notes you wanted to hit on?
I don't think so. I think we've really covered everything. We got Jasper Johnson's commit coming up. Hopefully we hear Kentucky on that. And basketball news, there really isn't too much else going on since football season's getting kicked off.
I do want to say real quickly, I saw those videos where they went down to Eastern Kentucky, the basketball team, and they got to build homes and help out with that. Well, right when all that happened, we got a friend of the program, Jordan Hughes. He kind of stays anonymous, doesn't do any really media, but, he's in our chat. He's right down there in Knott County. And right when that happened, the flooding in 2022, I believe, me and Jordan Mathis with Catterday Checkdown, we put out a link on Twitter. A lot of people donated it. We raised like $700 in like 2 days. And we went to Sam's Club, or I think it might have been Costco, and got a lot of stuff that they needed at the time, toothbrushes, deodorant, stuff like that. Took it down to water bottles. Like you think how simple water bottles are, but like they needed everything at that time. And anyways, we got down there and got to see days, like just like a day or two after it happened, of how wrecked it was. And that was such an experience, like emotional experience. But like, imagine like right now, everything, your house and like all that just gets wrecked, and you got to refigure your life. Like jobs aren't open. You're not going to work. Like, gas station, like there's a gas station down there, however tall the wall is, covered in mud, like trailers flipped upside down in creeks across the road. Like the middle of the blacktop road was split up. Like it looked like I out of a movie. Like it just came up, and this blacktop 20 feet over there came from this road. And I saw a fire truck flipped over in a creek upside down under a bridge. Like we underestimate how powerful water is. But anyways, we got down there and got to see. That was an experience, man. I felt a lot for them. I wanted to do it again. I wanted to come back to Frankfort, Lexington, get some more money and go back. And that's hard to do when you're putting out a GoFundMe. People gratefully donated the first time. But to see that they're finally getting back on their feet, I know they have for a while now, but I check in with Jordan Hughes here and there to ask him how it was and, how they're doing. And it took a long time. I mean, they're still building stuff. It's going to be a few more years, but like for about a year, like stuff wasn't normal. And I've heard some stories of that Jordan Hughes told me of being down there, of like people he knew that died. And I don't want to get into some of it's real graphic, but anyways, long story short, to see that we're going down there and still helping, and it's 2 years later now, a little bit more, building homes, and imagine being that family. Your house got taken, your car got flooded, everything that you knew, and then like Kentucky basketball, your joy in life, Kentucky basketball and football that you can forget about reality for a little bit. They came to build you a house. Mark Pope signed his name on that rafter there, and like it's really cool, man. I think we should definitely shouldn't forget it and not go over that. I think we had to make that point real quick because that's a big deal. You drive to get down there.
Yeah, I mean it's something that you see on the news and everything, and never expect to happen to you in your personal life until it happens, and then just kind of like one of the things, like where do I go to? I don't know, like no resources or anything. The basic necessities in life are limited. So yeah, that is great. Cal, that was something that he was amazing with, was giving back to the community and doing things for the community. So it's wonderful to see that Pope is continuing to do these things, especially with, how early it is into the season. Basketball season is still months away.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, when Cal was here, they had that big fundraiser and raised a bunch of money for Eastern Kentucky. So yeah, that was Cal's best trait, man. But yeah, I'm glad it's continuing.
The Western Kentucky Tornadoes, I worked with a nonprofit called AmeriCorps during that time. And I was with the disaster management program, and we were heavily involved with that. And so that was when Cal had the team go to the emergency environmental station. I forget what it's called. and answer phone calls and everything, write down what families were needing and everything. So, it is really great. Hopefully that's something Cal continues to do down there in Arkansas, because, Arkansas is pretty similar with us as far as it comes to economy and everything. But yeah, it's wonderful to see Pope still continue to do these type of things.
Well, Tim, the Mark Pope era is here. It's been here, but we're getting that closer to season. With football being just 3 days from now, I just always know basketball is right and on the end of that tail. So it feels like everything's here right now, even though it's just football. But Tim, it was great catching up with you. I wish Michael could have stayed longer, but he's on TV probably right now as we speak. So ready to get things going. I mean, both seasons are here. Football this weekend. I will catch you there under Kroger Field. Lights, 7:45, I think. And also shout out to you. For all you all look at this background. I couldn't tell you how this works, but that's why Tim gets paid the big bucks. He's put this nice background around here. Looks all professional. And again, I think I forgot to mention, we're with Field of 68 again for another season. They asked us to stay with them. That's what this, any of you all catching this podcast from the Field of 68 audience, we're a media outlet. We football, basketball, have a website. We do the whole shabam. But when we got with Field of 68, we just kept our name cats coverage because I wanted that brand to be out there. I didn't want to make up some corny name for our podcast. We just kept it. So it's a little confusing, but all of us here understand it. So it's fine. But thank you to Rob Doster and Jeff Goodman and that whole crew. Field of 68 is really growing. They've grown a lot in the last 12 months. We're with them. That gives us more eyes. And that's becoming I think that section of their audience is like the hardcore college basketball fans, because they're streaming at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, talking in depth about it. And they get all these coaches on, and that's what, we got our basketball podcast here. So I think it's great. I'm glad to hear with another second year with them, and I'm excited, man.
Yeah, we've had Rob on an episode previously. We haven't had Jeff Goodman on yet though. So maybe before the season kicks off or sometime during the season, we can get one or both of them on.
Yeah, I think we definitely can. They said they would before they told me. So we'll have to strategically pick something for them. But yeah, Rob came for the Tennessee game last year and just was in awe of Rob Dillingham, both Robs. But fun times. I think a lot of both of them, they're both down to earth people. But yeah, we'll have them on at some point. We'll have to think about what games and stuff and get their thoughts. And especially the whole Mark Pope tie. Like they had Mark Pope on their podcast last year. They're close with him. They know more. I think they know some stuff that's not made public. So maybe we can pull that out of them too.
Maybe. But
that's him. Well, I guess are we signing out for the night?
I think so. I think we've got everything covered. Busy day coming up for Saturday. Got the football game. Hopefully the rain holds off. And the rain makes for cool photos, but for just sitting there having a tug along your camera with a basically garbage bag over it for the entire game is such a miserable experience. That's the main concern for Saturday. I'm hoping the rain holds off.
Me too. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right.
Get the flashing blue lights going on.
Yeah. Tim, have a good night, man. We'll catch you soon.
Yeah. All right, man. See you.
See ya.